different levels, more characters, exciting challenges. Don't always make a better game. What's good, everybody? I am the SKeLeTrust, and welcome back to another commentary. Now, this is a game I've wanted to touch upon for quite a while now, and I've really wanted to give this series a greater look, because a lot of people seem to defend it a lot. Like, people say it's like probably one of the best indie games we've gotten in years. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm not sure I really agree with that. It just doesn't really look that interesting to me. Well, I take that back. It did get more interesting with baldi'sbasicsplus, which is the game we're talking about today, but here's a bit of an unpopular opinion for y'all. I didn't like the original game at all. It was lacking, it was just the same thing each time, it was the same RNG-based thing that luck could just bite you in the ass at any time. I mean, it was okay the first 3 times when you were learning, okay, well, this is how the game works. And after those times, I realized how bullshit it was, and eventually it just wasn't worth completing, and it just seemed like a big waste of time. That was just gonna drive me crazy. I mean, no attack against the developer or anything, because I'm sure he puts very hard work into what he makes. And if his fans like the game, then great, I'm glad for them. I'm glad that he has a fan base. I just don't really see what the big deal is. I can understand why, I can understand the concept. This whole Baldi's Basics game is inspired by, like, bad 90s educational games, like Sonic Schoolhouse or I Am Freaking Me. I really applaud him for trying to bring this spoof to a horror game aspect. Great idea. Just gameplay-wise, kind of the opposite. So, yeah, and then the field trip wasn't that much better either. I mean, all you do in that one is just put wood in fire to keep the fire going. And that's it. I mean, you get the occasional threat, sure, but in the end, you're still doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. It just gets so that one just got so tiring quickly, and I just didn't spend a lot of time on that one. Well, both of those gameplay aspects are put into Baldi's Basics Plus. But there's actually more variety to this one, which I will again applaud the developer for putting in. He added different modes, like Explore mode, where you can explore every map of the game and get used to it. That's good, I like doing that. That's probably my favorite part of the game, if I'm being perfectly honest. Because you don't have to worry about luck biting you in the ass, because even if it does, you can't die. You can explore the world you're in quite freely. And you can get used to all the characters. Great, I love something like that. That's something, I think that's one of the things the game needed. And yeah, it does a good job of that. And then it also has the challenge mode, the 3 of them being stealthy challenge, which is basically you have to go around the school avoiding the principal of the things, or multiple principal of the things, and just try not to get caught, because otherwise you get sent to his office and the game's over, because Baldi since he's the only way he can end the game, he just freaking kills you. Anyway. And then there's Speedy challenge, very straightforward, it's just you versus Baldi and no one else, but you're really, really fast. That's enough said for that one. It's just very straightforward. And then the grapple challenge is also straightforward. You can't move unless you use the grappling hook, because that's your only method. So, I will applaud the developer, again, for giving this game more variety. And he's even adding achievements, from what I've read in his change log. Or his future plans, basically. He said that he was going to add achievements. I love achievements in games. That's awesome. And, yeah, I'm somewhat looking forward to what he has cooked up for us, but at the same time not. But I'm gonna get to that later. So, yes, like I said, there's different levels, more characters, and exciting challenges, but I already mentioned that part. So, as for the new characters, they're interesting. I wouldn't really call them memorable, but they're interesting. There's Beans, who shoots like bubblegum, and if you get hit by it, he makes you incredibly slow for a short period of time. But the good part about him is that he can also get all the other characters. But if you're in a really bad spot and he's about to gum you, you're probably done for. Other than him, though, as far as new characters go for right now, everyone else is just incredibly easy. Chuckles is just a freaking joke. all you have to do to avoid him is go out of the room you were currently in within 15 seconds. And since you're constantly on your feet solving problems, you'll have absolutely no issue with that. You'll just be able to walk out. And then Cloudicopter, more times than not, actually helped me out by pushing me forward than pushing me backward. And of course, when she did that, that's where I kind of had to rely on luck to get me out of that. And then there's Miss Pomp, which that's a very interesting concept there. That's probably my favorite addition to the collection so far. But like I said, she's really easy. In fact, I didn't really have any issue with her throughout any of my playthroughs, because all I had to do was go to her classroom. And since she always seems to go, at least from what I've played, she always seems to go to a very distant room. So you can basically just follow her, and if you can, if you can, to the room, and there you go, easy as pie. You get like 3 whole minutes to do this. In my opinion, that's way too much time. If you want to add challenge, maybe try halving that, or maybe even more so. But Miss Pomp is just really easy. I never really had any issue with her. Even if I couldn't follow her, I still managed to find her on the map quite easily in some period of time. So, I do think the characters have been a little underwhelming, but they can also be quite luck-based, like Beans or maybe even Cloudicopter to an extent. There's also new items. A new one I know for sure got added is an apple for Baldi, which if you give him an apple, he just munches on it for about 15 seconds, and it's a good distraction. Big old boots make you walk a little faster, the dirty chalk eraser avoids you from being seen, the faculty name tag allows you to go into faculty rooms. I think the principal doesn't even catch you. I do think these are interesting selections of new additions, but there is just one little problem I have with this whole thing that kinda ruins it for me. It's still RNG based. The game can still flip the table if it wants to. It can still bite you in the ass. It's an improvement. It has more variety. It is technically a better game, but I still don't like it that much because the RNG just completely throws it out the window for me. I mean, I swear, one of these runs I've had, I was about to win. I was on the 3rd floor, and I was actually about to win it. And then, guess what happened? It's a bully came up and blocked my path, and I had no items left to use, because I already used them trying to get away from Baldi. And since Baldi was already right behind me, I had no choice but to get killed. It's just stuff like that really irritates me. Like, that's the kind of shit that makes me turn off the game for like a good few days, at least. And this has happened more than once. It's just I'm just bringing this one up because it's just very recent. I wanted to share it. So overall, I do think Baldi's Basics Plus is a decent game, and it doesn't go anywhere beyond that as of right now. I think it's only gonna be decent. It's just not really my thing. If it's too RNG based, I'm not playing it. It's just simple as that. So yeah, as a whole, the game can either be really underwhelming, it can work, but it doesn't do much, or it's just too unfair for me to play. So, Baldi's Basics, at its absolute best, is decent, and that's as far as I'm going. I don't really intend to pick up this game very often. And I'm sorry to those of you, once again, who like Baldi's Basics as a whole, but I just don't. I never really understood it to begin with. I just didn't. I do think it's funny. I do think the concept is funny. That doesn't mean the game is fun. So those are my thoughts on Baldi's Basics Plus, but also as a whole. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, be sure to leave a like, and subscribe if you're interested. I'm going to try and make commentaries like these, and I also make other videos like Let's Plays or other humorous content you might find actually funny or cringy. Depending on your type, everybody's different. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Sayonara.